Hey guys, welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks so much for being here, for being subscribed. If you're not, go ahead and hit that button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit that like button. It's like walking into the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this beautifully honest reaction. Now listen, guys, for those of you who have been here on my channel and podcast for a little minute, I want to say I appreciate you being here. I've just been dealing with a lot of business in the background, and I haven't been able to be as productive as I've been wanting to be, but I've definitely been keeping my ears tuned to what has been going on, and I just have like a list of things that I wanted to talk about, and I'm just getting around to sharing this. But guys, I haven't done a reaction to one of Ernest and Shirley's jail calls in a minute because one, now knowing that his marriage to her is not even legal, not saying the conversations are not valid anymore, he's just disgusting. So I couldn't even really listen to his voice for a little minute. I might get back around to doing that, but knowing that he's married all of these people, knowing that he never got divorced, knowing that he never got a legal divorce, because I know some, especially in the South, some older Black people, and not just Black people, white people and others, they may do it too, where they just decide to, stay with the person and not live with them anymore, just be separated, and sometimes feel like, oh, well, if there can be a common law marriage, then maybe we can have a common law divorce where we're just not seeing each other anymore, screwing each other anymore. So we can just go ahead and move on with our lives and marry other people and it's all cool. But that's not how the law works. That's why when people say, oh, it's just a piece of paper, it's more than just a piece of paper. And if you really want to be legit in the eyes of the law, you need to get married. And if you don't want to be with that person anymore, then you need to go through a divorce. And a lot of times it is harder to get divorced than it is to get married. But that's not even about all of this. I wanted to do a reaction. This is actually from essieberry's YouTube channel. I've been listening to a lot of her commentary recently when it comes to Steve Harvey, and now with the stuff that's come out about Ernesto and Shirley. She's shared a great bit of information on her channel. And I wanted to play a part of one of her panelists had to say about Shirley Strawberry. And this is really for those who feels like Shirley is just this innocent flower that was consumed by this ferocious bee that came and landed on her and took advantage of her, sucked all of the honeysuckle from her flower and just left her dry and destitute. She allowed a lot of these things to go on. And listen, based on the call that I heard between she and him, and she was talking about looking at her daughter as the enemy and that she's a hater, just that little snippet of what she said out of her own mouth alone, for me, does not leave me having much sympathy for her, and knowing, based on the breakdown that Chronicle Speaks did of how she literally allowed her life to be downgraded while also upgrading at the same time, because who gets evicted from all of these places and then every time you move to another place, the place is larger, more expensive, and has more square feet. Usually when people are consistently being evicted, their life is going down. So you may go from, I don't know, let's say you may go from a 2,000 square foot house to a 1,000 square foot townhouse. And then if you get evicted from there, you may go from the 1,000 square foot townhouse to, I don't know, an 800 or 700 square foot apartment. And then if you're getting evicted from that place, then you may be going from that apartment to the mobile home park. And then from there, you may be going to sleep on somebody's sofa at their house. And listen, I know that's a stereotype. Don't think that I'm saying that everyone who gets evicted is broke or is consistently downsizing, but you rarely see someone leveling up on the exterior while on the background and the interior things are all messed up. Shirley wanted the lifestyle, okay? And so I just consider all of those things. I'm not saying that she was in on him doing a lot of the devious things that he did, but she definitely was benefiting from it. And I feel like knew at the least, that 24-hour barbershop, they weren't just trimming fades and, you know what I mean, cutting guys' hair. It was a lot of other stuff going on, and she was okay with it. So I want to do a reaction to a part of one of Essieberry's videos where a panelist had a lot to say about Shirley.
You gonna get yours. Last comment. How you doing, Miss Essie? I've been listening to you. Listen, and my iPad went down because I just didn't charge it. So I'm on my iPhone. Listen to me. I guess all that I've been through, it's made me a little more radical than yourself. See, I can't stand to listen to nonsense, okay? Shirley, listen to me. Just let me say this to you so I can give you because you are a beautiful person through and through. But Shirley Strawberry is a liar. She was in with them. She knew what her husband was doing to people. She was enjoying the fruits of his labor and their labor, okay? And that's why I had no sympathy at all for Shirley. She did not listen to her daughter. When her daughter told her something was wrong, she didn't listen to her grandchildren. She didn't care. All it was is, let me keep this man beside me, and let me, whatever he get, I'm going to get some of it. And that's what I feel about Shirley Strawberry. So no one, and I'm going to tell you, because let me tell you, one thing about Jesus, when he walked in, he was straightforward. Some of the pharaohs didn't understand when he went in that church and just tore everything down. You understand? Because you know why he did it? Because sometimes you got to cut off that malignant part of you. And Shirley Strawberry is very malignant. And if she doesn't go to jail and do time along with Ernesto, then we know Steve Harvey has paid for her to stay out. And you wonder why that she thinks that Margie didn't want her in her house, because Margie knows she done been with Steve too, okay?
Did you hear that? Did you guys ever consider that possibly Steve might have hooked up with Shirley at some point? I don't know.
I've done that with Steve, okay? And a sexual. I'm talking about in a sexual conversation. I told you, I knew it. I knew that. And no matter what Margie say to Steve can let Strawberry go but so far. Because see, she knows some shit too. She know a lot of stuff he did too. So he just trying to keep everything. And they didn't fascinate me by her. I'm talking about his wife now. Him and her, Steve and his wife out there feeding the hunger. That's not when is the last time y'all did that? And thank you. What did you do it for? Just to get the airwaves off of your ass, right? You need to go to jail. So do Steve Harvey. So do the white and every judge that had something to do with it, because they knew and they let the green dollars fool them. Amen. I just want you to know, you've been a beautiful person talking to her. Yeah. Miss Shirley. She's not Miss Shirley. She's Bitch Shirley. Her and Marjorie. But you know what Marjorie is? Marjorie know when to run. That's why she ain't with Steve now. Okay? Show up.
Miss Pat said, tell the truth and shame the devil.
I was thinking that, girl. Girl, I was thinking that. Just listen for 1 second. Okay, girl. And try to feed the people if you want to, but you know what? God ain't looking at that. No. He's not looking at that. That's just damage control for their image. You know what? I don't like to disrespect people and call people out their name, but them two chicks right there is just some comic bitches. They gonna get exactly what's coming to them. Come on. Yes, they are. Amen. Thank you. I just want to keep going. Child, thank you for that tea.
Listen, did you hear that? And a lot of people feel the same way that she feels with regards to Shirley not being innocent. And no, I'm not saying that she was doing things with children and dogs like he's been accused of doing, but her coming on the radio, doing her quote unquote strawberry letter of apology to basically Steve and Marjorie, it wasn't even really about her, but in that she was speaking in terms of, and just sounding so, I don't know, astounded that all of these things are going on and she just can't believe it. And it's just like been a whirlwind of shame and her life just being destroyed by this horrible, devious man. In a way, I'm not saying she's exactly like Phaedra, but I never believed that Phaedra was innocent in what was going on with Apollo and him going to prison for the second time or how many other times? Because I don't even know what his record is. But when Phaedra came on to the Real Housewives of Atlanta, that first season, she was, trying to be all prim and proper, sitting at the dining room table with Apollo, with all of the fancy dishes and just making it seem like he was this upstanding man. And most of us could see that he wasn't. And then when the chips started falling and then he got charged with RICO, she didn't really want to talk a whole lot about anything. She disassociated herself from him, separated herself from him. And in my personal opinion, I believe she was definitely aware, if not the one that orchestrated a lot of the things that were being done, because we know that attorneys can make a lot of money. They indeed can. And any attorney that has a license in the state that they're in can open up their own practice if they want to. That does not mean you're making money. It really doesn't. And the way that we've seen Phaedra operate on the show and just all the other things that she said she had her pot in, a lot of us felt like, some of us, I won't say a lot of us, felt like that law firm was, even though she was a legitimate attorney, was a cover for other things. And when we've seen her show up in the parking lot and a man is just giving her all this cash for representation, and it just didn't look and smell clean. You know what I mean? And so a lot of people felt like Phaedra wasn't innocent in a lot of things that happened to her now ex-husband Apollo, father of her children. But because they were married and she had these children, she wasn't going to testify against him, but she definitely didn't want to associate herself with it. And for the love of his kids, he did not allow her to go down with the ship either. So he served that time. I believe in some ways Shirley is similar to Phaedra, just trying to make herself seem like she's just so innocent and just had no idea about anything that's going on. But how could you not? You may not have known every single detail, but how could you not? I'm just saying. So when I heard that woman share those things, I was like, you know what? I got to share this with everyone over here on my platform. So I really would love to know what you guys think about this. So please let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I will have a link to the entire video. It'll be in the description box. It's pretty long. It's pretty lengthy. I did listen to the entirety of it, and it was actually pretty good because it was about one of his victims who did an interview with Essie on her channel, and she shared her experience. Now, she did not have an Essie actual situation as a victim with him, but he tried it, and she was a monetary victim of his. And so she shared her story. So please listen to the entirety of it. I will have a link to it in the description box, but I really wanted to share that part with you guys where the panelist and caller shared her thoughts about Shirley, Steve, and Marjorie. I thought that was extremely interesting. So guys, let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for being here, for liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.